I'm sorry if this whole thing sounds a little rushed, but my fiancé, Ryan, who I've been with for 7 years, told me today that he's not sure whether he wants to be with me anymore, and I realize it may sound stupid, but I love him so much. It feels like my world is falling apart around me. I don't know what I can do. This all started a couple days ago when we were celebrating our anniversary. We invited a bunch of people, including one of my closest friends, Ellie. She noticed my fiancé being affectionate towards me and made some stupid comment about how she told me so that Ryan would be better for me than my ex, Andy. My fiancé was a little confused and asked Ellie what she meant. Back when I was in college, Andy and Ryan both asked me out to the same event. I'd known Ryan since high school and we'd always had a thing, but we weren't a couple. On top of that, he went to another college that was a half-hour drive away from me. Andy went to my college, his dorm was a 5-minute walk away, and he was someone completely new. I began to feel like my relationship with Ryan wouldn't be exciting enough because we already knew almost everything about each other. With the added headache of being half an hour away from each other, despite Ellie's protests, I decided to go with Andy. I know my reasoning is beyond stupid, but I never thought that this decision had the potential to blow up my future. Ryan was already hurt that I declined his request to go on a date. I didn't want to make him feel worse by telling him that I was going with someone else, not that it mattered because he stopped talking to me for about 6 months. During this time, it became obvious that me and Andy weren't right for each other, so we ended it. When me and Ryan began talking again, I realized how much I missed him and that he was perfect for me, so I asked him out. He was overjoyed, and that's how we got to this point. For the rest of the party, I could tell that his mood was off. He kept pulling away from my kisses/touches and responded to me with short one-sentence answers. After the party, when I asked him what was wrong, he just said that he felt sick. For the next 2 days he continued to be cold and distant. I had no idea what was happening, so I waited patiently for him to become comfortable enough to tell me. Today he told me the reason he'd been acting off. From the story, it sounded like I had kept him as my backup or plan B in case my relationship with Andy failed, and that it was especially messed up since we'd obviously had feelings for each other long before then. He also said that he deserved to be someone's first choice. I thought that this was just an insecurity that we could get through, but then he went on to say that he's not sure whether he can see our relationship in the same light anymore, so it might be best if we split up. I pleaded with him that we don't need to take it that far and that we should go to counseling or even just live separately for a few days while he thinks about whether this is what he actually wants. So far he hasn't said anything except that he absolutely refuses to go to therapy. I can tell that this is weighing on him heavily because he's been drinking more than usual, but I don't know what to say to make him feel better. We've had a beautiful relationship. He's never been overly jealous or possessive, and although neither of us are perfect, I couldn't ask for a more loving, respectful, intelligent and charming, soon-to-be, husband. I don't understand how all of that could come to an end for a foolish mistake that I made 7 years ago. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for by posting on here, but if anyone has any advice, please let me know. TLDR, my fiancé found out that I chose to date someone else in college before him, says that he doesn't want to be my backup relationship and that it might be best if we go our separate ways. Edit. I think I may have messed up on my wording. He doesn't care that I dated someone else before him. It bothers him that I had the choice between him or Andy and I chose Andy. Update. So a few people have asked for an update. It's been a little over 2 weeks now, so I'm not sure if anyone is even interested anymore. I think for now I'm just confused about what's happening. If anyone has any advice or has some idea of what he's thinking, please tell me. After what happened in the last post, he said that we should put off the wedding while we decide how to proceed. That means something, right? He used the exact words put off instead of cancel and while we decide how to proceed. I think that means he hasn't decided that we should break up yet. Maybe he'll just decide not to marry, but to continue our relationship. I don't think he's ready to give up our relationship yet, but he's moved into a hotel. I know some people have told me to give him space, but I've decided that even if a part of him is willing to stay with me, I'm going to do everything I can to give me another chance. I've been dropping off food, leaving notes under his door, and we've been calling every day, sometimes twice a day. Right now we're both stuck in limbo. Most of the time we talk about how much we miss each other, the plans we had, and me convincing him that he's my soulmate and that regardless of whatever happened with Andy, I know we would have ended up together. Then there are other moments where he calls in the middle of the night, having obviously been crying and asking questions like, what did he have that I didn't? Did you love him? Was he better in bed? Was better looking than me? Do you still think he's better looking than me? What does more exciting mean? Do you wish he gave you another chance? He says that he wants to be with me desperately, but when he thinks about me, it's seared into his mind that I was always his first choice, but he will always have been my second. It hurts him that we had feelings for each other all the way through high school, but the moment I met Andy, none of that meant anything anymore, which must have meant I thought Andy was worth my time and he wasn't. It breaks my heart to hear him holding back his tears and trying to cry silently, but I swear I'll do anything to save our relationship, and part of that means not hiding anything from him. I've begged him to reconsider going to therapy, but he absolutely will not budge. Some of our mutual friends are saying that they're not sure if he'll recover from this, but I don't care. He hasn't told me to stop trying, so I'm not going to. I wish to God that I could go back and change the past because I love him more than anything, including myself. It feels like I'm in some sort of surreal nightmare. Less than a month ago, we were laying in bed fighting over which of us got to name our kids, and now a seemingly insignificant mistake that I made 7 years ago might wipe away the beautiful future I want with Ryan. All I can do right now is be there and hope that he can give me another chance, but I don't know what he's thinking. I know this isn't a common relationship problem, but if anyone has anything they can give me, whether it's advice or even reassurance that things are going to work out, please tell me. Edit. He called an hour ago. Some of his friends found this Reddit post and showed it to him, so he called angry, asking why I would tell strangers about our personal problems and how is he supposed to face his friends and family now after they all know that the only reason I'm with him is because Andy broke up with me. After reading the comments, he realized that it wasn't right for him to keep me in the dark for so long without making a decision. He's decided that we should go our separate ways so that I can decide whether it really is him that I want to be with and that he wasn't just the convenient choice. For now, I can't describe how I'm feeling. It's like I'm so tired I just want to go to sleep forever. I know some of you have the impression that he's a horrible man, but this was just a small fragment of our relationship and doesn't reflect who he is as an individual in the slightest. He's the guy who spent days learning about my major on top of his own studies so that he could help me study for exams and proofread my coursework. He spent thousands of his own hard-earned money to give my parents their dream vacation to Australia and insisted that I say I paid for it because they'd feel bad taking money from him. When my ex threatened to leak nudes that I'd sent him when we were together, I was terrified that he would leave. He took me out to my favorite restaurant and said that there was nothing anyone else could do or say that would ever affect how much he loves me, and then he asked me to marry him so I'd never have to worry about him leaving ever again. My fiancé is the best man that I've never known, and the assumptions that everyone here has made from hearing about such a small part of our lives is disgusting, and I didn't come here for people to convince me that he's immature, insecure, or any of that. I should have known better than to post here, but all I can hope for now is that he sees this. To my fiancé. I don't know what I can say to make this better, and I don't know if you'll be able to heal from this. What I can say is that you are wrong in thinking that I chose you out of convenience. I chose you because you're the most thoughtful, handsome, intelligent, and charming man that I've ever known. Every single moment that we've had together for the last 7 years, every kiss that we've shared, every bagel that we've split, and every I love you that I've said was meant for you and was an affirmation that you are and always will be my first choice. I don't believe that you want to cut our lives together short. I think that you were trying to heal from the consequences of a mistake that I made, and then I inadvertently set a fire underneath you by forcing you to come to a decision by making this post. Take as long as you need to do whatever it is that you need to do to heal from this, and I'll be here waiting for when you're ready to talk. If you decide that this is something that we cannot overcome, I would accept your decision, but I know we are stronger than this. I love you so much. Edit 2. I know this is starting to get really long, but he read my open letter and got in contact with me to say that he's not promising anything except that he'll listen. He still refuses to see a therapist because he doesn't view our relationship as strong enough that there's anything to salvage right now. However, some people here have expressed that they wish they could give him advice directly, and I've convinced him to talk to others who have experienced this and healed from it. If you've experienced something similar, please ask for his throwaway either in your response to this post or by PMing me. Thank you. Final update. Before I get into the update, I want to say that I asked my ex-fiancé before posting this, and he said it's fine as long as I don't give away any details that could reveal us to more of our friends and family. I've always been the type of person who values other people's input when it comes to making big decisions, and he knows that. A lot has happened since the last update. After we spoke, he went completely quiet for around 2 weeks for time to think. The waiting was almost unbearable, but he promised that as soon as he had an answer for me, he would contact me. I wasn't allowed to come to his hotel to drop off food, try to see him, or any sort of contact. When he finally called, the first thing that he established was that our relationship was over. However, despite our relationship ending, he still wants to be with me. If I still want to be with him, we can restart our relationship completely from the beginning with the board wiped clean. In his own words, while you look back at our relationship and see something wonderful, I look back at it in disgust because you lied by omission every single day. Initially, I was ready to agree on the spot, but he insisted that I take the week to decide whether I really want this. His logic is that if I choose to restart our relationship from the beginning now, he will be my first choice. Later on in the week, it began to settle what this would mean. I would go from fiancé back to girlfriend. I don't know when he is going to propose again. I don't want children until we're married, so I don't know how long that's going to be. In short, it would completely throw off the life plans we had. I asked for a little more time, and he doesn't want me to resent him in the future, so agreed to give me as much time as I needed to come to a decision. This is a better outcome than I expected and maybe better than I deserve, but I would be lying if I said that I don't wish things could go back to normal. I've decided that I'm going to agree to starting over. It just really hurts that the past 7 years don't mean anything anymore. Not long ago we celebrated our 7th anniversary, but this time next year, we'll be celebrating our 1st anniversary again. TLDR, he broke up with me but gave me the option of starting over with a new relationship as boyfriend and girlfriend. That would rectify my mistake and make him my first choice. I've had some time to think and I've decided that I'm going to agree. Edit. He read the post and wanted to address some of the comments. If we do restart our relationship, he won't hold anything over my head. It'll be exactly as he said and our relationship would start over completely. He's so confident of this that he insists I leave him if he ever slips up and brings it up when we argue. Some people have said that being first is just an arbitrary construct, but that doesn't mean anything. Marriage is a construct, monogamy is a construct, etc. Something being a construct doesn't make it any less real or capable of inflicting pain. A reminder that this isn't about me dating people before him. He doesn't care about that. He cares that I knew him for years, that we had a bond in high school and that he waited until we were in college so we could officially be a couple, but I picked someone else I barely knew. It's come up very often that the length of our relationship should have some influence over his decisions. He says it does because it makes it even worse. I never told him about what happened during those 6 months while we were together. On top of that, I wasn't the one to tell him in the end. We know everything about each other, so he can only assume that I consciously hid it from him. I'm not insecure, fragile or irrational. The fact is that our old relationship is now ruined in my eyes. It's ruined because she took away my ability to make an informed decision 7 years ago. If I had known the circumstances of her return, I'm not afraid to say that I would have told her to go FK herself. Now I'm giving her the option to restart our relationship with me knowing all the facts. This time we'll be equals. Now on to the next story. Story 2. My girlfriend asked to an open relationship, and I just pointed her to the door. So, like the title says, my 43 meters, GF36F asked that we open the relationship, and I just pointed her to the door. It was too much? I strongly believe that in a monogamous relationship when someone asks to open it, well, is because that person saw something else out there and is ready to try it instead of working in the relationship. Basically is blindsiding his/her partner. So I have been with Fran, 36, over the last 2 years and a half, almost 2 as a couple. I thought that things were moving smoothly and was about to ask her to move in, at the beginning of April, but lately she was acting rather distant. So I decided to wait a little and watch. I was cheated on the past, so I'm a little cautious with some signs. Out of nowhere this last Friday she asked me to open the relationship. She gave me all her big speech, and when she ended her presentation I asked her if she has someone in mind, because it's not like we decided today and basically going out with other persons tomorrow. Basically I trick her into tell me what I already knew, and yes, she has someone in mind, which means to me, that either she already did it or she has all set up. So I got up, walk around the apartment while she was trying to sell that this could be good for both us and our relationship. By the time she ended talking I hand her one of my sport bags with all her stuff in it, and tell her to left the spare key over the table on her way out, that we are done and she knows why. Then I went to the couch and turned on the TV, just trying to look indifferent and save face. She was speechless for a while, about to cry, but before she couldn't say something, I tell her that I didn't want to talk about anything and she should leave. As soon as she left, I felt like crap, so unworthy, cried a little, and as right now I'm still mourning. My phone is going almost nuclear with all the calls and text I received from friends of both sides about my extreme reaction over her simple request. Don't know what she told them. So now I'm sitting wondering if I really went overboard, and at the same time fighting the urge to run back to her, because deep inside, even knowing my feelings for her are still there, the trust is gone and I'm not gonna spend all my time watching her movements. Is not healthy, maybe in time, really don't know. Before anyone pointed out, yes I know, my reaction is pure reflection of me, not what she did or was about to do, or could do. So, did I went overboard? P.S. Sorry about my English, keep that in mind if you don't understand something on me. Redaction. Update 1. First of all, thanks for all the replies and upvotes. It never crossed my mind that this post would have this much attention. I just wrote it to put order in my ideas and vent a little, and with the hope a few people told me if I went overboard. But I didn't expect the amount of replies I got. So many thanks to all for that. Some people pointed that maybe I went overboard, that maybe she wasn't aware of my position on the subject. I replied to some, but there were too many comments to get back to all. So to clarify, maybe a year back approx we had a couple of friends in a similar situation, and for like a month that was the main theme of conversation on our group of friends, and every time I said that for me is a big no, and if one person in a relationship need to be with other persons, well she should leave. About the friends trying to mend things up, well they weren't totally aware of the situation. Yesterday after I posted here, and with my ideas more defined went to see a group of them and told them my point. All of them agree with me at different levels. Some of them wanted to let it go, others wanted to burn her at the stake. Of course a few girls in the group pointed that I could do things in a better way, and also there was a few question about if could consider give her another chance. But for me the main issue is not feelings. I know that I love her, but the trust is gone and I don't want to find myself wondering all the time what is she up to. After I left, My friends talked to other persons that weren't there and basically the waters have calmed. If you are wondering what is she doing, really don't know. I got a few texts from her, but haven't read it yet, and don't think it will do it soon. Anyway, I know it's not much, but this is all I got for now. Note, when I first joined this part of Reddit I didn't get what people get here by posting their relationship troubles, but I do get it now. Update 2, hello to every stranger interested in how things ended. I wasn't much on the idea about posting any other update, but some people have been asking, so here it is. Finally, after listening to various friends and some Reddit users, I talked to her, just to sort things out. Last Friday we meet at our regular place where we take coffee. At the distance, she looked great, so great that I just wanted to say fuck it and drag her back to my place. It took a lot of restraint to not do it. When I got close to her, I noticed her sadness and she still has her eyes irritated from crying. We sat and before she could say a word I asked her to tell me the entire story and that please don't let anything out of it, that I need it, and then I would ask her a few things and also needed all the true. The story is pretty basic. Around 2 months before she asked for the open relationship, on her girls' dancing night out they meet this exotic good-looking guy. During the first month he was the new flavor that all the singles friends on the group were trying out, which leads to girl taking and sharing experiences. Eventually this guy, that was having his way with all the girls around him, set his eyes on Fran, and begun to flirt with her, taking her to dance floor having fun. Well, here is when she shouldered stope things, because we had an agreement with dancing night, that she would stay away from any guy, because, we guys are pigs and it's pretty rare that a guy just wanna dance. Anyway, because of the excitement, she went for it, enjoyed the attention of this guy and had a great time dancing. Looking at the timeline, this was around the time I noticed that Fran was distant. Moving forward a few weeks her friends were sharing more intimate stories about this guy, and that got into her mind. She found herself fantasizing doing it with him. Also he was trying to make a move on her too. But from what she told me, she didn't went for it because she was with me. Drinks and drunken friends are bad counselors, and once the idea of open the relationship came out, they were over 2 weeks chatting about how to convince me, that because long time ago, I had threesomes and also swinged a little, I should be okay with the idea of open the relationship. But threesomes and swinging are things you do as a couple, and out of the pure excitement. At least for me, and was a long time ago, early 20s. All this lead to the day she asked to open the relationship. She told me that she and her friends never thought that I would end the relationship in the moment, that the worst scenario would be me getting angry and say no. So there is no big deal and just ask. At this point I interrupt her and tell her that she should know better. We were together over 2 years and always share my thought about everything with her. She agrees. At this point I explained to her that I didn't break up with her for the question. I did it because there was already a guy, so for me that was a major trust issue. If this was some concern that came out natural, maybe we could have worked it out. In the worst scenario maybe we could found it an alternative, but the way things were, his was an alert for me. We went around to the topic for a while, and then I begun to question her. Basically I asked if she was intimate with him at some point. She said she wasn't. If she developed some feelings for him, no she didn't, and lastly if she has see this guy again, and that was also a no. Even if that is not much, that was a small relief. But I explained to her that I can't go back to her, I need to close this for my own health. Also I told her that we share a lot of friends and I don't want to lose any of them because of this and wouldn't be fair to ask them to choose, so we can behave like adults and keep things friendly. If my friends take one side is because they want it, not because I asked them to. She said how sorry she is, that if she could, would undo everything, but she knew it can't be done. She was about to cry, I was also too. So it was a good moment to ask for the check and leave. I walked her to her car, opened the door for her, just an habit of mine, and she started to cry. I couldn't help and hug her. We stood there about 10 minutes. When she calmed she got into her car and drove. I was at shock, went home, grabbed my camping gear, and drove to the mountain and spent it all the weekend there to clear my mind. Early this morning I was driving back to the city, and at the moment my phone grabbed signal, it got flooded with messages, from friends and family, all worried because basically I disappeared, without telling anybody. I text back to everyone telling that I was okay, that went out camping and at the moment was driving to work. Also I got a text from her, something on the lines that she feels that we are not over yet, and that she thinks I need time to leave all this behind me, and she will wait in the hope of it. I haven't texted her back, because I'm pretty sure I'm done, but experience has taught me to never say never. So for now I'm gonna take easy, doing what I like, and see where things take me. Well that's it, thanks all for your support and advice. P.S. Sorry about my English. Update 3, how are things going for me? Hello, it's been a while. The truth is I didn't plan to continue updating the story, but a few days ago a friend sent me a TikTok link where the story was, but now in Spanish. The translation was horrible, so I got some smiles at it and realized that I hadn't logged into Reddit in a while, so I decided to do it yesterday. I came across several messages, some asking what I was up to, others giving advice and encouragement, and of course those asking for an update. I decided that it would be easier to write here than to respond individually to each of you. Well, here it goes. After almost a month and a half revolving around the matter, I still didn't have things very clear, But fortunately that's what best friends are for. I had a conversation with Clau and her husband Pete, my two best friends. Clau is like my little sister and Pete is my best friend since college. After a while talking, Clau put on her serious face, "That's strange, he's always smiling," and told me, "You have to let her go. You know very well that in your head you will always be wondering what happened, and if you are really all that she wants, and regardless of whether that's the case, you'll never be sure." She also said something about how the only reason I haven't let her go is because I don't want to be alone. To be very honest, all of that is true. It was hard to hear it, especially because it came from the woman who I still see as that little girl I took by the hand to school, and for some reason I couldn't stop wondering when she became more mature and wiser than me. Funny note, I jokingly asked her when she had matured more than me. She laughed and told me that I stopped maturing at 15 and that she had caught up with me when she turned 10. We have 5 years difference. Anyway, back to the story. I gave the situation a couple more thoughts that week and went to talk to Fran. I just told her that clearly at this moment in life we wanted different things and that it was better for each of us to continue on our own way, without resentments or bad feelings, and I said goodbye. Clearly she didn't like what I said and she got sad, but well, she has to process her emotions and I have to process mine. I was in an emotional low for a while and I focused on work, but things have slowly improved. No, I'm not seeing anyone and I have no intentions anytime soon. I think it's a good opportunity to behave like an immature 15-year-old in the body of a 43-year-old and play video games, go camping and be the envy of every one of my friends whose wives or partners don't let them go out to play XD. And that's it. Thank you for your interest in my story, your advice and good wishes. P.S. Like always, sorry about my English.